safety, wear gloves, measure accurately, and don't taste any of the unmixed ingredients. The first step is to prepare what most people call the 7X flavoring, which is the mixture of essential oils and alcohol that make up the Coca-Cola secret formula. To be clear, what I'm about to share is not the Coca-Cola secret formula, since I failed to utilize decoconized coca leaf extract. Chemically though, it's about as close as you can get without it, and the real deal should be fairly similar. The recipe is 45.8 milliliters lemon, 36.5 milliliters lime, 1.2 milliliters orange, 8 milliliters tea tree, 4.5 milliliters cassia cinnamon, 2.7 milliliters nutmeg, 0.7 milliliters coriander, and 0.6 milliliters fenchol. And optimally, you'd let this mixture age for a day or two before continuing. Art of Drink has an excellent video explaining why, and even the original Pemberton version of Coca-Cola includes this aging step. In the end, you'll be rewarded with about 100 milliliters of flavor oil, which is enough for over 5,000 liters of soda, or about as much as your mom drinks in a day. To make the 7X solution, simply dilute 20 milliliters of the flavor oil to a volume of 1 liter using food-grade alcohol. And before anyone gets worried, the amount of alcohol being added to the final soda is 5 times less than what you get from a non-alcoholic beer, and far too little to taste or make this drink intoxicating. Other flavor extracts like vanilla or almond use ethanol as a solvent. This is no different. Still, if alcohol is an issue, you can emulsify the oil into water with the help of gum arabic. Check out Glenn and Friends Cooking to see how he does this with his cola. Anyway, next, we'll need to make a secondary water-based solution containing the other ingredients, aside from sugar and carbonated water. Into roughly 200 milliliters of hot water, measure out 10 milliliters of 5% vinegar, 9.65 grams of caffeine, 175 grams of glycerin, 45 milliliters of 85% phosphoric acid, 8 grams of wine tannins, 10 milliliters of vanilla extract, and 320 milliliters of Shank's caramel color. In case you're wondering, the glycerin is being added for texture and mouthfeel. Without it, the drink tends to feel a bit thinner and more like diet soda. Also, if using vanilla extract feels imprecise, you can alternatively mix up a solution containing 9.5 grams per liter of vanillin and use 1 milliliter of that. Given the fairly limited impact vanilla seems to have though, you probably wouldn't notice a major difference. Give each ingredient time to fully incorporate before adding the next, and once everything is dissolved, dilute the mixture to a final volume of 1 liter using water. Now, let's make some Coca-Cola. For this demo, I'll be making 1 liter, just so scaling up or down is a bit easier. Into a glass dish, add 104 grams of sugar, and just enough water to dissolve everything. I know I said 110 grams of sugar per liter of soda at the beginning of the video, but here's the deal. That's for a mixture of fructose and glucose, like you'd find in corn syrup. If we add 110 grams of sucrose, or cane sugar, the phosphoric acid will cause it to react with the water and form nearly 116 grams of those simpler sugars. That would throw off the sweetness of the drink, so we use less sugar to compensate. Anyway, next we add our flavor solutions to the syrup. 10 milliliters of the water-based solution, and 1 milliliter of the alcohol-based 7X solution. You might need a few extra drops of the 7X solution, it really depends on your taste. As soon as everything is combined, microwave or otherwise heat the mixture until nearly boiling, and cover to prevent the more volatile flavors from escaping. Heating like this helps the phosphoric acid break down compounds like limonene and citral, and it also accelerates that sugar hydrolysis reaction we just talked about, so it's a fairly crucial step. Once fully cooled, dilute the syrup to a volume of 1 liter with cold carbonated water. This can either be bought or made yourself using a soda stream. Just don't attempt to carbonate the fully mixed soda on the machine. It tends to produce a lot of foam, which can lead to bacterial growth if you're not careful. And this is our finished Coca-Cola. You can drink it directly, but if you want the most accurate version of the final flavor, allow the soda to rest for a day or so in the fridge. And again, while the flavor is as close as I could get to Coke after a year of trying, and certainly closer than any other clone I've tasted, there is still room for perfection. So if you have the ingredients, feel free to experiment. And for future reference, I'll have the most up-to-date version of the recipe in the video description. Of course, I could go on and on about how I think my cola tastes, but what do other people think? Is this a convincing replica, or just another Pemberton knockoff? Well, I set up several blind and non-blind taste tests, and people actually had trouble telling it apart from real Coke.
Yeah, this is regular Coke, see, I can't even tell. Even though I know already, I can't even tell.
9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. That's pretty good.
That tastes pretty close. Like,
may not be able to tell if these are side by side with the original taste.
You know, that is definitely, you know, Coke, or a Coke product. You know, if you said it was vanilla Coke or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, maybe that's definitely Coke.
I think this is more similar to this bottle than this is to that bottle. Which is crazy to think about now that I said that out loud.
Yeah. That's a Coke product. I wasn't expecting it to taste so much like Coke. Oh my gosh, hold on, I gotta go get it. Yeah, that's good. I mean, like, if you sold this on the shelves, I'd buy it.
Regular Coke drinkers were better picking mine out from the mix, but the general consensus was that Lab Cola could be mistaken for Coke, and not other colas like Pepsi. When tasted on its own, without Coca-Cola as a direct reference, people overwhelmingly thought it was the real deal, unlike the Pemberton recipe, Open Cola, and other clones I had them try.
Yeah, that's not Coke. Oh.
No, that's not Coke. No, that's not even, like, it's a cola, but like that's not Coke. That is just straight flour.
It's very cinnamony to me. That's like almost pure cinnamon.
Like, you know, like those little candies?
Yeah.
But it's definitely not Coke.
Alright, I think that's finally it. 2025 is coming to a close, and it has been an insane year for this channel. Thanks to everyone's support, I was able to take on crazy projects like making fluorine gas at home, preparing oleum piranha solution, and putting a 360 camera probe in front of a tornado. Stay tuned for that adventure. 2026 is shaping up to be another great year for lab coats, although there are a few changes on the way. If all goes well, I'll be graduating in May with my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, and moving to a new location where I'll be doing an internship and hopefully getting a full-time job. It's hard to say how many videos I'll be putting out at that time, but rest assured if there is like a little break in there, it's not going to be permanent, and I will be coming back. Regarding projects, I have several chemistry-themed ones planned out, including making taurine for my own energy drink, and finally finishing my work with super stenches by taking on tellurium. I also bought over $1,000 worth of capacitors to build a plasma gun, and for storm chasing, I got this high-speed drone to film tornadoes up close and personal. Kinda like the Otis project, but cheaper. Now I just need a license. If you'd like to help support me and my channel, feel free to donate, join my Patreon, or become a channel member. Or pick yourself up a sample of the Lab Cola flavor stuff. As always, a big thanks goes out to all the existing Lab Coats Patreon supporters and channel members. Without them, I would not be able to afford projects like this. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Lab Coats out.
All right, everybody. Today, we're going to be looking at malware disguised as games. This is a part 3. I know you guys have been enjoying this, so I took a lot of time to find the icons on the center of the screen right now, because they all gave me a type of detection when I ran them through different antiviruses, okay? You may be asking, why is there a PUBG Battlegrounds right here? Well, I'll tell you why. This one right here is a ransomware for PUBG. I went out of my way to make a burner Steam account, and then I family shared my entire game library, so that way, actually, I don't even think I needed to do that because PUBG is free, but I did it anyway. There are about 26 items, give or take, that we're going to be taking a look at. Some of these are obviously fake games. Counter-Strike, Grand Theft Auto 6, Overwatch installer. But yeah, we're going to walk through each of these, so sit back, relax, and let's begin, shall we? The first one I want to show you guys is Sniper Phantom's Resolution. This one was actually on Steam, and I found it on a malware database. This is the actual file, apparently. I was kind of geeking when I found it. Let's make sure this URL is blurred so YouTube doesn't take this video down, but I'm on a malware database right now, and this is where I found it. It's right here. It has been confirmed malware. I just downloaded it because it was on Steam at the time, right? And I want to see if it actually gives me a game. If it doesn't, I do have this program called Portmaster to monitor the activity that happens. Let's go ahead and open it, shall we? I will be surprised if a game pops up right now. It doesn't look like it. Game Pass. Why is Game Pass opening? Let's press it again. What does that do? It's not doing anything at all. Fake game spotted. What if we run as admin? A JavaScript error occurred in the main process. That's not good, dude. If we look at Portmaster, it says discord.com. It's trying to take my Discord account. Probably Steam account too. This is most likely going to get hacked. That's why I made a burner. Steam chat? I didn't get a message though. That's sus. So they're trying to take my Discord and my Steam account at the moment, I'm pretty sure. Let me show you guys what Virus Total has to say about that one. See, look, it's just a straight up Trojan. I don't know what an Astrea is, but Trojan. Not really a game, but posing as a game. And it happened to get on Steam somehow. Multi-billion-dollar company, by the way. Guys, what I'm doing in this video is something I hope you aren't doing yourself, because it can result in your accounts getting hacked if you're not careful. When I'm doing this, I have to make sure that I'm protecting my personal information. And that's why I use NordVPN, who happens to be sponsoring today's video. NordVPN isn't just your typical VPN where it hides your IP. They have a really huge feature on top of the VPN that protects you from malware and phishing attacks. With Threat Protection Pro, you can easily block the download of strange files and browse the internet safely without worrying about being tracked and potentially losing your accounts. So if you have that one family member you let use your computer and they just let that download button sing, you can rest easy because your computer is protected. So if you want to try NordVPN for yourself, you can go to nordvpn.com/Tranium or link in the description as well. And if you get a 2-year plan, you get 4 months for free. If you use it and you end up not being satisfied, you can get your money back within 30 days. So I mean, why not give it a shot and see what NordVPN can do for you? Let's get back into the video. I kind of want to click on this one. I have no idea what these are, to be honest. I kind of just downloaded a bunch of games on GameJolt and scanned them all. We're gonna play Hell. Let's peek at Portmaster since it's been a minute. Okay. It's definitely doing something, bro. Some dude in Yugoslavia's better hack me. Let's scan Hell. Trojan Schoolgirl. What is Trojan Schoolgirl? I'm assuming it's a game that is compressed, right? It's a type of malware that disguises itself as legitimate software, often used to perform malicious activities. Capture keyboard input. Could be a false positive, could not be. Who knows, bro? They letting anything slide on GameJolt. In my previous videos, we found some scammers. Okay, we're in. Why is it counting down? What was that? I didn't even do anything yet. It was just counting down from what, 1,000? And then it just randomly gave me a trash jump scare. Now what? It's literally, oh my God. Can I get out? Is this even a game? Hold on. What was that? What is this? Can I play now? I can't use the arrow keys. Can't use WASD. Nothing. It's just Mickey Mouse in a field. All right. What a trash game. Who in their right mind willingly threw that on GameJolt? Seriously. Next up, I kind of want to get Crazy Kettle 3D out of the way because a lot of people are suspicious that it is malware. I kind of want to clear it up a little bit. I'm covering this because people are speculating that Crazy Cattle 3D is malware. The game actually originated on itch.io by someone named Anna, and right here in the description it says no sites other than this itch.io site are official. I do not endorse any third-party hosts. And right here in this tab there's an entire website for Crazy Cattle 3D. People are a little scared to download this game on this website. This is what I'm talking about. This guy is like, is Crazy Cattle 3D a virus or am I just downloading it on a weird site? People are not sure if the download is safe. I'm gonna show you guys right now that it's really not that bad. I don't know why everyone's tweaking out. Let's scan it. It's literally undetected. We're gonna play it anyway, bro. New game. We're gonna progressively get into more crazy games, by the way. We're gaming. Oh, I'm about to get aggressive right now. You just gotta tip them over. That'd be kind of crazy though if you died. You have a password stealer injected into your computer. Oh, come on. Come on, dude. Oh my God, he's pushed me, bro. Dude, I gotta start getting aggressive here. Come on, bro. Come here. I'm coming for you. Just going in circles. Oh no. No. Oh. Oh! That was some horse shit. We almost won that. That is actually depressing. We were almost top 10, bro. CrazyCattle3D.com is fine. Anyway, moving on. Let's go to something a little more drastic. We're gonna scan this Anomaly Backrooms game. So this is a Trojan, as we can see. Let's take a look at Portmaster real quick. Yeah, so Defender Smart Screen keeps tweaking for some reason. Steam. Keep getting Steam connections. I'm literally not even like touching it. We got Canada. Let's go ahead and try Anomaly. It's telling me I have to run it as admin. That's kind of not a good idea, actually. Let's see if we can play without running admin. Anomaly rooms. Stay. Don't run. Trust him. I have no choice at this point. He already gave me a Trojan. All right, we're in. Never actually played a backrooms game, so this is kind of cool. If I was stuck in the backrooms, I would definitely just say f it all, honestly. I followed the arrow, but now I'm kind of lost. Oh. Oh my god. The hell is that?
No,
it's a stick figure, bruh. Oh, nah. No, he runs faster than me. I have to trust you. I have to trust you, right? I'm good. I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you.
The fact that I'm able to be here today to talk to you about this is unbelievable, and in my opinion, probably the biggest discovery for blindfolded 120 star that we will ever see. For context, in 2021 until mid-2022, I have routed and finally also succeeded in the world's first blindfolded 120 star speedrun of Super Mario 64. This means getting every single star in the game without vision. This required a ton of creative thinking, routing, and using glitches that were otherwise never used in normal speedruns. While it was a huge achievement finishing the run for the first time, it was definitely far from perfect. Most notably, the 100 coin stars were incredibly difficult due to their complexity and length. The star that we will look at today is the Snowman's Land 100 coin star, which took a whopping 1 hour and around 5 minutes to grab. This is just for this one singular star. The problem with Snowman's Land 100 coins is that it is one of the most RNG heavy stars in the game, meaning that it is incredibly random to actually get coins. Most of the coins in the stage come from enemies like spindrifts and moneybags, and these coins cannot always be 100% consistently obtained, especially while blindfolded. It is extremely common that 1 or 2 coins just go flying away, which in blindfolded terms means really bad news. Even if we perform our route flawlessly, there is always a chance that we'll be short on coins at the end and then need to perform some risky backups. And this is also exactly what happened in the 120 star run, as I died twice with more than 90 coins. Now, in 2025, I've spent close to the entire year optimizing all the stages in 120 star blindfolded again, in order to improve the world record soon. On October 13th, the next stage I wanted to look at was Snowman's Land. I started routing, and after checking the stage, I immediately came back to one elusive idea that I had even back in the days, but never could make work. There is one strategy in Snowman's Land that, for example, the TAS makes heavy use of. I'm speaking of coin cloning. For those who don't know about it, it is possible to clone moneybags infinitely, given you have a shell, which means you can clone as many enemies as you want and then kill them for a lot of coins. What if, with today's knowledge and my higher skill in blindfolded speedruns, we could somehow make cloning viable? Even back in the days during the first blindfolded 120 star run in 2022, we have theorized that cloning theoretically could be possible even while blindfolded. The problem is that it was extremely precise and inconsistent. To give you a rough idea on how cloning works, you basically have a money bag, which has 2 invisible circles around it. The close one makes it wake up once Mario enters, the outer one makes it sleep once Mario leaves. In order to clone a money bag, you need to enter the 400 unit range to wake him up first, and then exit the 800 unit range to make him sleep. And then on the same frame the money bag falls asleep, enter the 400 unit range again. You can repeat this by doing precise circles that hit this timing consistently. But yeah, for blindfolded, the worst part is getting into the initial clone position. You need to take the shell very close to the money bag and then do consistent circles around it. And both the position and the circle setup is precise. There are a few approaches on how to do this in real-time speedruns, like doing the circles with maximum speed while rotating the stick, or holding straight right in Mario Kart zoomed in. But all of that is really precise and requires some micro adjustments to get started. The only thing we managed to do blindfolded back in 2021 was taking the shell, riding it to an already kind of inconsistent angle towards the money bag, and then beat count when to start doing circles. And basically pray that you would magically hit the range of the money bag and clone. Needless to say, it was not a single time performed successfully. One of the major motivations coming back to this idea was the new real-time cloning setup by Crytholith, which initiates a few clones without the shell, and at least on first glance it looked pretty normalized for a visual strategy. I tried this setup for blindfolded, but the precision of the inputs was way too hard to time, in combination with requiring a first frame Mario Kart input that would mess up the position if we failed it, which means we cannot find our position again and are lost for good. I had one more idea that seemed to fix the unnormalized problems. What if we start the cloning not with this money bag close to the sign, but rather with the one close to the start? For this money back, we could use the frozen structure in the beginning to do a set of normalized inputs to potentially get into a perfect range that could work with the normalized circle setup. We tried a few ideas, but again, very quickly we had to realize that cloning, especially without shell, is just way too precise. We would need tools like scattershot or inhuman amounts of brute force in order to find a setup with consistent inputs. So, very quickly I discarded the idea of cloning again. In my despair, I tried to go back to the old idea of using the shell and just beat counting it all somehow. I found some better angle setups and my counting definitely has improved over the years. I even got a few successful clones starting from the box, but nothing seemed very consistent. And that brings us to the actual problem of this star. As I mentioned, the 100 coin star in Snowman's Land is incredibly random. The old single star world record of 100 coins was around 15 minutes long with great execution and RNG. With a bit more practice and better luck in the 120 star world record, around 30 minutes should be a consistent clear time for this star. That means we would need to not only make the cloning consistent, but also decently fast. Let's say a setup would be 50% consistent, which would already be a miracle, but even then, we would need to be still able to spawn the star and collect it within around 7 to 10 minutes to make it worth considering resets and fails. So it really seemed pointless. Nothing worked and I started to get really frustrated about it all. Not only because I have put countless of hours into researching this, but also because being able to consistently clone would improve the 120 star blindfolded run so much. It was right there in front of our nose, but we just couldn't make it work properly. But, as so often in blindfolded speedruns, when you start to run out of ideas and despair, it is the time when you start trying random ideas that usually would make absolutely no sense. I glanced over to chat, expecting to find nothing but disappointment in the cloning not working, but one comment stood out by my moderator Elomir. Can you set up a lock cam first at the money bags and then go grab the shell? I read this out loud at first. In my exhaustion, I didn't even understand what they wanted from me, honestly. Can you set up a lock cam first at the money bags and then go grab the shell? I closed my eyes for a second. And thought about it. Holy shit, this could actually work. At this point, this was nothing but the hypothesis, but in my head I could see the idea at least having some potential. But what was meant by that? I quickly made a setup to showcase it to my viewers. I made a normalized setup from the side using only moves that guarantee certain positions like backflips. Then you can lock the camera in place with the locked camera feature of the game, which is heavily used in blindfolded speedruns, and go grab the shell with the lock cam held all the way. This makes collecting the shell incredibly difficult, especially as Mario's footsteps and other sounds grow more and more quiet with more distance, but theoretically, if you manage to get the shell, you should be able to just approach the lock camera and then hold a notch on the controller to make circles. This should work because Mario's movement will always be dependent on the camera position, and if we position the camera in just the right spot, the circles around the camera could potentially perfectly hit the cloning range. I know this is a lot of theory, but it gave me hope. And so I just threw out an attempt. I love this, dude. So it's kinda working. It's kinda working if you would find that position. There's actually no way. It kind of worked. With a good camera position, you could indeed start the cloning process, but it was still not very consistent. The down right input at the start of the circles mattered a lot, because the circle size would change a bit, and very often the money bag would clone maybe once or twice, but then stop. I was really excited because this was a groundbreaking discovery, but deep in my mind I still had my doubts because, well, in order to actually use this, it would need to be more consistent and produce more coins. Otherwise, as I said earlier, the non-cloning route would be just more consistent in a long speedrun like 120 star. Not only was the cloning part difficult, but when I tried some attempts for fun, I started struggling the most with actually finding the box without Mario's sound cues. The problem is that the locked camera is so far away from the box. Over there you cannot hear anything anymore, not even whether you opened the box with the jump or not. I had one more idea to mitigate this problem. What if you tried the new lock cam circuit setup from the other money bag at the start? Similar to before, we could normalize at the frozen structure, use some backflips, lock the cam, and then potentially go over the hill to get to the box. That is a tiny bit less distance, so while all the sounds are still extremely quiet, you can at least hear some faint sounds. But I didn't have much success. The big question was, where do we actually lock the camera? There were a million different normalization setups that we could use and test. Again, we would need to have inhuman amounts of brute forcing a position that somehow works. And with that, I felt quite defeated and went to sleep with conflicted feelings about all of this. I woke up to a message in Discord. Let me introduce you to inhuman amounts of brute forcing, aka Dusterbite.
No.
Dusterbite has helped with a lot of blindfolded setups in the past, so once I saw the message, I knew things were about to go down. Dusterbite has created a segmented demonstration of a potential strategy with a couple of new key elements. First of all, do not ask me how he found the initial camera setup, that is 100% cursed magic to me. But it seems that this particular camera position works for cloning. Dusterbite then proceeds over the hill, save states getting the shell, and now it gets interesting. Because once you are on the shell, you can basically just hold straight down until Mario is just about to jump off this cliff. And this is crucial, because with this setup, you can time the down right that was so inconsistent in the previous setup. Apparently, as long as you hold down right while Mario is mid-air, you get pretty good circles in front of the money bag. This was a huge improvement. Unfortunately, the cloning did seem to stop eventually at around 50 coins, but it was way better than anything we have seen so far. I was again skeptical at first, so I booted up the game myself and tried it out. We were definitely closer to a solution, but something still didn't really work. My first thought was the notches, as Dusterbite used an emulator and had perfect notches, while me on the Wii Virtual Console can hardly achieve anything like that. My second suspicion was that the initial camera setup had a little flaw. I quickly fixed that by doing an additional wall hug and normalizing against the outer wall one more time. That should give us a 100% consistent angle and position to start with. Another inconsistent part of Dusterbite's setup were the backflips, as you get tiny bit different positional values by mashing backflips versus letting the full animation play out. And with all of that preparation, let me try to hold perfect notch here. It's f***ing cloning, dude. Oh my god, is this real? Do we have a clone setup? After all the work, it seemed to somehow work. As if it was magic, the setup found seemed to actually be viable for blindfolded speedruns. But this is not the end of the story. We very quickly figured out a new issue with cloning. I will be very afraid that my Wii will... No! My HUD is gone! My Wii is about to crash, dude! Loud sound incoming? Yeah, that can also happen. If you clone too many money bags, the game starts to, well, break a bit. It starts with the HUD disappearing, then some sounds go missing, and it's very likely that the console will actually crash afterwards. On N64, this happens much earlier, but luckily we do blindfolded speedruns on a Wii VC, which allows for more clones to be loaded at the same time. While this should technically not be a real problem, it is still something we need to consider for the potential blindfolded route. My first idea to combat that was to kill more money bags while actually doing the circles. Like this. And it's very likely that the money bags spawn like here, anywhere in like this area, right? This is where they will jump in the beginning. So we only kill money bags if they jump to the bottom right here. If you would have this orange circle here instead, that would overlap much more with the position of the money bags jumps. But of course that's like wishful thinking, because like how do we normalize that, you know? But like that's one big thing. That would be huge if we find that still, dude. But that was not the only problem we had left to solve. The cloning worked, but it also seemed to stop at super random times. Sometimes you would get 30 coins, sometimes 60, sometimes only 10 or even nothing. Of course, it is still a lot of coins in a short period of time, but it kinda sucks because it will make the routing extremely difficult, and the consistency of the cloning will matter a lot for the final success rate of the star. I posted another normalization closer to the direction facing the money bag. Maybe someone can find a setup. Let me check. Holy shit. This is such a crazy normalization. Is this real? Wait, is this full up notch? This is so stupid. I love it. I mean, this is close to the facing direction indeed. I will test. Let me test it. That looks so funny. That would be so cool to have in runs. The setup Ruby proposed definitely got closer to the facing direction of the money bag, but it seemed just a tiny bit too far away from the money bag to initiate the cloning. It would probably be possible to find a random combination of punches and backflips to fix that, but yet again, lots of brute forcing is required. I guess it's just a matter of changing the setup then. So if anyone wants to test like different punch combinations and stuff, feel free to do so. I would be happy to find a good setup here. Let's try maybe one more, and then if not, then let's go back to Dasabyte's idea for now. Hold? Nah, this one does not seem good. Because it's a specific frame when you hold down right. But if it works great, because it's right in the front of his face, dude. We're killing the money bags as they spawn. Holy shit, dude. It's 30 coins for free. I still don't understand why it sometimes stops. I have to admit,
Vabbè, aspettiamo l'ascensorino. Porco di culo. Ooh. Nothing. Puede ser nada. Puede ser nada. Bello. Va bene. Dai, prendilo però, porco dio.